Okay, oh, sorry about that, folks. Okay, I'm back here. But like I said at the end of part 1, you want to do this booking-wise for story and character development. You want to have Kane go over at Mania so that makes him more legitimate again and people take him serious once again. And maybe have a blow-off match at Extreme Rules. Character prediction-wise, as a fan, you want Randy Orton to go over because Randy Orton's over and you feel he deserves it. Well, that's how I look at it from a prediction booking standpoint. And then of course, that's 4 matches down, we've got 4 to go. Then what I feel will be the 5th match of the night, the 12-man tag team match. That's right, we're going to have a 12-man as the 5th match, what I feel could be the 5th match. Now prediction-wise, you want Teddy Long's team to win, and Teddy Long's team of course consists of Santino, R-Truth, Kofi Kingston, Zack Ryder, Great Khali, and Booker T. And of course you have Hornswoggle and Otunga in the corner. And the opponent, the opposite team, is Team Laurinaitis. And that consists of David Otunga, Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and The Miz, with Vickie Guerrero in their corner. Now, from a fan's perspective, prediction-wise, you want Teddy Long to win because you don't want to see John Laurinaitis no more. Alright, from a fan-wise, that's a good idea because at least it shows that John Laurinaitis isn't worthy yet or doesn't have what it takes to be in charge of both shows anymore. Or both shows. Especially shows how foolish he is to make his team comprise of guys that are sort of like on the upper to mid-card to lower card level. Now, booking-wise though, this is kind of a 50-50 split. On one hand, booking and storyline-wise, from a creative standpoint, you want to book Team Laurinaitis to win from a booking standpoint. This is one way to go with it, because it's kind of 50-50. But from one way, you want John Laurinaitis' team to win because think about the storylines that can come out, that can spring from that. Storyline-wise, here's what you feel could spring from this. John Laurinaitis could win and say, you know what, I'm going to reward all you guys for what you did for me. And one of the ways, storyline-wise, even though it's been done before in the past, is he could strip all the current champions, whether they're babyface or heel, and literally have those championships that he stripped them of handed over to his team and say, now you're the champions. Now you can decide when and where you want to defend. So basically, that would give him and his team, those that represent him, some power. And again, character and storyline-wise, this would kind of show the babyface side trying to claw back up and try to get those championships away from the heels. And again, from a story aspect, you could have the heels saying like, oh, let's say for example, they have the WWE champion, whoever it may be after Mania, hand the title over to David Otunga. David could be like, I don't feel like defending tonight. I'll defend whenever I want to. I don't want to defend at Mania. I'll defend in 5 years. You can have him do that, right? You could literally have him do that because he'd be like, oh, I don't want to defend. I'll defend in 5 years. And then the same with whoever gets the world title, right? So like whoever the world champion is, after Mania, you could have, let's say, oh, I don't know, Dolph Ziggler or The Miz or whoever he chooses be the world champion, and they can have a thing like, well, I would defend, but I don't want to defend right now. In fact, I don't want to defend for the rest of my career. I'm just going to walk around with this title, be the best of the best. You know? You can have that. And from a story perspective, that would be entertaining. It might get a little stale and boring at times, but it would be entertaining because then you would have the baby faces trying to get them to defend. Like you could have the heels throw out all these stipulations, like say, oh well, if you beat all 5 of these guys in a gauntlet match in a row, you'll get your title match. Or if you do this, you do. It would be so. From a story perspective, booking wise, that'd be a great way to go. And then of course, whenever he decides to come back, or whoever you put, either Triple H or heck, even maybe Stephanie, for all we know, Stephanie McMahon, they could come in as a babyface opposition to Johnny, sort of like be the one that has a little bit more power than he does, and be like, Johnny, what do you think you're doing? This is not how you use your power. And then eventually, your power. This is not how general managers are supposed to run things. And then, down the line, you could have the board of directors in agreement with either Triple H or Stephanie or whoever that authority is, and they can say, okay, if Johnny's team or if his little group don't win their matches at, let's say, SummerSlam, then Johnny is out. And Teddy Long's back in. And storyline-wise, that would build up a lot of anticipation for Teddy Long's return. Because people like Teddy Long, and they would love to see Teddy Long come back, resume his authority as in charge of both shows, and say, we're going to do things the right way and the fair way. Now, again, there's a lot that can come out of that, and I think WWE knows it. But then you got the other side of the coin. Teddy Long, story and booking-wise, Teddy could end up winning this match. His team could end up winning. And story-wise, he could actually take those that have been against him, have been saying bad things with him, including, let's say, Michael Cole, and say, okay, you guys want to keep your jobs? You want future title shots? I want you guys to humble yourselves. In other words, let's say he could take someone like Michael Cole and say, player, I know what you had to say about me. I heard you've been against me. You want to keep your job? Then I want you to promise me you'll be unbiased. Oh, and by the way, you got to wrestle this guy tonight to keep your job. And in other words, it could actually finally give us what we want. It could actually shut Michael Cole up down the line too. That would be what fans want to see. They could finally be like, yes, Michael Cole's going to, Teddy Long put Michael Cole against, let's say, the Funkasaurus. Squash Michael Cole. Michael Cole could come out later on that night or the next night and say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been unbiased. I let everything go to my head. I'll just be Michael Cole, the play-by-play announcer, unbiased and everything. And you know what? That would actually make fans happy, because then that would be the Michael Cole they're used to. He's not annoying or anything, he just comes out, does his job, and that's it. And then from the heels that associated with Laurinaitis, you could have, let's say, Drew McIntyre go like, look, Teddy, I was kidding. I never really wanted to associate with him. I just wanted one. I mean, you could literally have them come out and admit the truth finally. Like, Drew could say, I just want one more shot at the Intercontinental title so I can get it back. There you go. That's all you need. And a storyline perspective, too, it could also kind of backfire in his face, because then you could have, let's say, a Christian or a Ziggler or a Swagger kind of, or a Ziggler maybe, kind of, and maybe along with a Vickie kind of, you know, have a plan, have something of Teddy Long's backfire in his face. I mean, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they can find a way to gain the power from within. But another way, booking-wise, I see Teddy winning, storyline-wise, is you have The Miz. The Miz is the wild card, folks. He's the wild card. You see, The Miz, even though he's part of Team Johnny right now, he's the wild card. And booking-wise, I'm not saying they will do it. They can have The Miz cost Team Johnny the match. And then you can have John Laurinaitis the next night, I know, even that night at Mania, going like, why'd you do this to me? And you can have Miz saying, hey, because you didn't take me seriously. You didn't give me my opportunities. You didn't take me seriously. And then he can, and then Miz could be like, oh, and by the way, you choose a nobody over me as your team captain, somebody that hasn't really done anything, hasn't really accomplished anything, and you choose him over me? You know, and it doesn't mean Miz has to turn face. It could mean Miz could be still a heel, but he'll be like, look, I'm the most watched champion in history. If anybody should have been your captain, it should have been me. If anybody should have been the face of Raw, it should have been me. If anybody should have been added into that Raw Casino match tonight, it should have been me. You could, I mean, he could use a lot of this, and he could do that, and it would be a unique way to have Laurinaitis lose the match, because then Laurinaitis will be like, probably come out on Raw the next night and say, look, Miz, you're right. I should have made you the team captain. I should have put you in the main events. I should have put you in title matches, but I didn't do it. And it would work. And it would work. And heck, booking-wise, you want to throw things out the window, you could have a double disqualification, and then both men would still be in charge of both shows, of their own individual shows. I mean, that's one way of doing it. But then you also got another wild card, Zack Ryder. It looks like, from a story perspective, Zack Ryder may not be at Mania, because let's say Eve, who's trying to sucker him into going to her hotel, may end up trying to trap him there so that Team Leonidas would have an advantage, but then the wild card is you could have someone like Rhodes Clay take his place, and they wouldn't see that coming. Or Rey Mysterio, and they wouldn't see that coming. Again, it's all basically about the fact that it's kind of a 50-50 deal booking-wise, but both ways, to me, would work. But prediction-wise, as a fan, you'd want Teddy Long to win. Then, we get into what I feel will be the next match of the night, which will be Punk and Jericho. That's right, Punk and Jericho, which would be trying to make sure here. Okay, I did that one. I did the IC title. I did Randy. I did Sheamus. So the fifth match would be Punk and Jericho. Not the sixth match, but the fifth match will be Punk and Jericho. Now a lot of people are looking at this probably being a classic match, and it probably will be. And fan-wise, you want to see CM Punk beat Chris Jericho. Prediction-wise, it's kind of 50-50 again. You know, you want Chris Jericho to win because you build him up, coming back and everything, so the only logical thing is let him go over at Mania and then kind of tell Punk, see, I am the best at what I do. I am the best in the world, not you. And then maybe you could have CM Punk, you know, being the babyface, kind of humble himself a little bit and say, okay, fine, you are better than me in some aspects, but you're not totally the best just yet. He could throw that line, you're not totally the best. Because maybe you could have like some kind of screwy finish, screwy way or whatever, where Jericho could win the title. But then on the other hand, CM Punk being booked to win would put him over. Because he doesn't really have that good of a record at Mania. He's kind of like a 2-2 deal. So letting him go 3-2 at Mania would be pretty good. Because that way, not only can he finally not only can he finally prove to Jericho that, hey, I am what I say I am. I am the best wrestler in the world. But then from a storyline perspective, you can have him maybe have a blow-off match at Extreme Rules, and then after whatever, you can have Jericho come out the next night and say, yeah, you are the best wrestler in the world, but you're not the best at all you do. You see, I'm the reason, and you can have Chris say, the reason I've always said that is because I go out and I try to be the best at everything I try, at everything I involve myself in. So that would work out from a storyline perspective, kind of 50-50. But fan-wise, in a prediction, you want CM Punk to win. Prediction, booking-wise, it's kind of 50-50. Because then, like I said, if Jericho wins, you can have him have a blow-off match, maybe a ladder match or something like that, Extreme Rules. Both could do another classic, and CM Punk can go over, and then Jericho goes on tour, whatever. But then again, like I say, CM Punk being booked to win would allow him to say, I am the best, but then you could have Chris come in and say, yeah, you are the best wrestler, but you're not the best at everything you try and everything you involve yourself in. So it's kind of 50-50 there. And then the next match after that, unfortunately, I think is going to be the Divas match, the Divas tag. And booking-wise, this is kind of, prediction-wise, of course, you want the babyface Divas to win. Booking-wise, it's kind of 50-50, but I think booking-wise, you want, because you got Maria Menounos, a celebrity involved, you want her, you got to book her and Kelly to go over. And the best booking-wise to do this is to have Eve walk out on Beth. Thus, you would start a feud there, and Beth would become babyface as Divas champion. So that would work out fine there, and that's how I look at it right there from a prediction and booking standpoint. Now, we get into the last two matches, and boy, are these ones that a lot of people are talking about. Let me check my time here. A lot of people are talking